I watched a lot of cartoons growing up. Cartoons that you would recognize and cartoons you wouldn't recognize. I've already done a couple videos on my favorite cartoon channel, which would be Cartoon Network, and one of my all-time favorite cartoons, SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, I would like to revisit another one of my favorite cartoons. I finished my rewatch for it approximately 2 days and 7 hours ago ish, somewhere in there. And I have three major phases that I want to break down. The first phase being Timmy Turner, the second phase being Timmy, Poof, and the addition of Sparky, and then the third phase being the addition of Chloe, I believe her name was. The first phase of Timmy Turner starts when Timmy initially gets his fairies. And from there, it's Cosmo, Wanda, Timmy. And as we're exploring this universe, Timmy's making crazy wishes, he's going on adventures. It is genuinely the better part of Fairly OddParents. If you wanted to stop after Poof is introduced, then by all means, I wouldn't be mad at you. Butch Hartman might, but me personally, I wouldn't. That's when the show is the most imaginative. You can tell the writers really love working on this show, and they're not being forced to write at an extreme pace in order to keep up with Nickelodeon standards. The animation style fluctuates throughout this first couple seasons when it's just Timmy and his fairies. However, it is still a lovable cartoon. Let's say that. It's very personable. It's very much so, wow, these wishes that Timmy's wishing for, when I was 10, 11, somewhere in there, I would wish for the same things if I had fairies. So it's cool to see these things explored and drawn out. He becomes best friends with his childhood favorite superhero. He's able to go to the moon. He's able to do so many different things that as a 10-year-old I'd fall in love with. I would say roughly season 4, 5, and 6, somewhere in there, Timmy Turner has his first movie, The Fairly Odd Baby, I believe it's called. And this is the introduction of Poof. Poof is Cosmo and Wanda's baby. Poof is his name because all he says is Poof. He quite literally gets introduced, I want to say, as almost a gag character that develops into someone that you tend to care for. Poof goes through various changes for the most part. He starts learning how to use magic. At one point, he starts learning how to talk. And eventually, he starts learning how to not be there at all. The show kind of just cancels him. Says we're sending him to school and he's never returning. And for me, that was a very unwanted change. I very much liked Poof a lot more than this Chloe character that they now have introduced. While the current seasons of Fairly OddParents are entertaining with Chloe Carmichael and the idea that Timmy necessarily has to share his fairies, I enjoyed much more Poof being around and seeing him kind of grow up as Timmy's unhad little brother, I guess, because Timmy is an only child. And granted, that is kind of part of what makes his life suck so much, but with Poof around, Timmy kind of has someone to look after. Granted, Cosmo and Wanda do the majority of the parental duties. Poof becomes, like I mentioned, Timmy's little brother, and it's fun to see them interact. It's fun to see the Timmy and Poof episodes as they happen. And why the show killed him off for Chloe, I don't quite honestly know. Before I get into the Chloe episodes, I do want to mention Sparky. Sparky was introduced in season 9 as Timmy's fairy dog. I wasn't a big fan of him, and neither was most of the people watching the Fairly OddParents. Sparky had a very short run. Sparky quite only lived for one season, And unlike Poof, the writers didn't give an explanation on why he disappeared. He kind of just got let out the moving car. He got left behind at the old house. It doesn't really give an explanation. I guess that's because nobody liked Sparky the dog. And Nickelodeon said, you know what? Make the show simpler. Get rid of him. And Poof got the same treatment. Like I mentioned, it's sad. I liked Poof better than I liked Chloe. In season 10, they introduce, I believe her name is Chloe Carmichael. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. I don't believe I am, but just in case, I always would like to be corrected. Chloe Carmichael is Timmy's next door neighbor, who I always thought was Dinkelberg, but maybe he has a house to the left and the right. Maybe Dinkelberg is still a thing. I don't know. He isn't brought up much in the newer seasons. It's kind of like Timmy's dad, his hatred just kind of dies for Dinkelberg, which, if you remember the earlier seasons, Dinkelberg was responsible for everything. The weather going bad, the iceberg in the Titanic was a Dinkelberg. Like, everything that could have possibly went wrong was blamed on Dinkelberg, and for him to just kind of disappear and get replaced by this Chloe Carmichael is now Timmy's neighbor. Like I mentioned, although it's an exciting, interesting change, I believe it was carried out wrong. I believe the writers are being forced to do the same thing they're doing with SpongeBob. They're being forced to push out so many new episodes and so many new ideas and so many different things that Timmy Turner is no longer this beloved art that was once beautiful. It was now and will forever be a dollar sign. The dollar sign known as Timmy Turner is unfortunate. I believe even on Netflix for a short while there was a 3D animation spin-off of the Fairly OddParents. Now, I don't know Butch Hartman's feelings about this, about the multiple spin-offs and things of that nature, but to me it feels forced. A lot like the SpongeBob spin-offs, it feels like they shouldn't be there. I was okay with Poof, and I was okay with those things happening the way they were. And if the new episodes, if that's all it contained, was Timmy, Poof, Cosmo, and Wanda, with the introduction, with the continuation of Dinkelberg, should I say, it would still be a good show. I would still watch it. I had almost a hard time getting through the episodes with Chloe Carmichael because her wishes aren't fun. Her wishes are kind of acting as Timmy's moral compass. Timmy has now been boiled down to this rambunctious, crazy, wired up little kid, while Chloe Carmichael is kind of the more sensible, think about it, moral compass, guide Timmy along his wish path line, and they're sharing Cosmo and Wanda. That is just odd to me. A lot of the newer episodes also, Timmy gets found out. His fairies get found a lot. Like, Crocker even comes in contact with the fairies multiple times. And for me, that's defeating the purpose, right? The whole idea was if anybody found out about Timmy's fairies, they're gone. Timmy's not allowed to have them. They get moved away because the idea of fairies in a human world is something people can't comprehend. Crocker being one of those people because Cosmo and Wanda were his fairies in like the 60s or 70s or 80s or somewhere. Whenever Crocker was a kid, he had fairies and he never got his brain wiped. He just kind of always remembered. And it still should be the same way, but it isn't. In the new episodes, like I mentioned, Crocker comes in contact with Cosmo and Wanda multiple times, even to the point where he recognizes them and knows that they were his fairies. And to me, that just kind of is the show screaming for help. It's kind of like we've run out of ideas and now Crocker has to find the fairies. Like, that's the one thing we think would be entertaining, and while it made for a good episode, you can tell that the soul of the show is dying. The art scenes, while bright and animated beautifully, kind of flow on the screen like this problematic redheaded stepchild that nobody really wants anymore, but is still around because we can't kill it off. And it's very evident. Timmy Turner has reached this point where he's not even the same original character who's learning the repercussions of all of his wishes. He's just kind of this guy that does whatever he wants, and Chloe Carmichael comes along and fixes it and tells Timmy how he's wrong, and bing, 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 bing. You know, it's very odd. It's very unfortunate. And to me, it isn't the Fairly Odd Parents. It isn't what I remembered. Did the show hold up? The first half did. Even when Poof was introduced, it held up. But when we hit double digits on the season, and it felt more like corporate policy telling them they had to continue because Timmy Turner's a big IP. The Fairly Odd Parents, Cosmo and Wanda, Jorgen and Dinkelberg, they're all big IPs, and we need them. They're money makers. And I feel like I'm seeing that a lot everywhere. Money is being valued over these beautiful art projects, but these beautiful projects and shows from my childhood made a lot of money. I don't know. It's a rabbit hole that I could go down forever, and I guarantee you this isn't the last show that I'm going to rewatch that's going to make me feel this way. I feel like there's a bunch of shows out there, and I kind of want to know which ones are staying true to their heart and which ones are selling out for the big money and the big bucks. If you're interested as well, I'll be posting another episode. We'll try to do one of these a week. I'm going to try to watch as much TV as I can. My schedule is getting a lot busier, but we'll still be recording videos. We'll still be going live. We'll still be making TikToks. Still going full content schedule. We're just adding in a full-time job as well. So, that's it for me. The Kevin Show is going away, I guess, for the night. Not forever. Remember, that sounded kind of sad. But, deuces. If you've made it this far, like, subscribe. Please watch the next episode. This has been The Kevin Show. Adios.